on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, thank God it is Friday, my good friend.
Thank our lucky stars. Happy Friday, Crudy. Hell, man, it's almost St. Patty's Day.
Almost St. Patty's Day. I got a leprechaun in studio.
Come on, man. I do have my Guinness shirt on today in honor.
And your diminutive size is no reflection on the fact that you got my Lucky Charms.
I love my Lucky Charms.
Oh, Fancy Brian, he's got the Irish shirt on as well. Am I the only non-St. Patty's observer here on this Friday?
Apparently.
That's okay. It's all right. Everybody's Irish here today.
You'd be
I
Irish
got my
all
Resistance
weekend.
Radio t-shirt on, man.
Hey, man.
I am dressed appropriately. The rest of you guys didn't get the memo. Dominic, here's the good news.
What's the good news, Crudy?
We're an audio product, a radio product. You know, God really intended for us to be a visual product.
Yes, well, you know.
You can watch us on the Facebook live streams.
And
Although
the
we're doing it
YouTubes.
over on the News Talk 1510 AM side.
Yes.
For the benefit of those viewers. And Brian has shared it over to the Devil's Advocates radio page as well. Thanks for doing so big, really big, oversized leprechaun.
I am definitely that guy. I am definitely a gigantic leprechaun, but nobody beats my buddy Dennis, who literally is taller than me, a leprechaun in all, like, if you scaled up to the size of Andre the Giant, leprechaun, that's my buddy Dennis. Dennis Pascal, you're a great guy.
So he's like the ho-ho-ho green giant leprechaun.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just wearing the Resistance Radio t-shirt. I don't try to be anything more than the coolest radio show host ever.
Ever?
Ever. Never, ever.
Well, co-host anyway.
But, Dom, if I was a TV host, you know, my career did start in television.
You did start in
I was handsomer then.
Yeah, you got uglier as you got older.
Lost some hair.
Gained
some weight. But these sexy dimples, Dom, they twinkle. And everyone should have the benefit. So, you know, it's too bad I settled in on radio. Because I'd be damn good looking. You know, thank God. You know, here's the thing. When I was in television, it was so hard to take me seriously. I was too good looking.
Oh, really?
It's like I could only work on Fox News or something.
You were the pretty one in the room.
Yes, in every room. You remember?
I
You were
don't
there?
remember that at all.
Oh,
Crudy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was the good looking one
You
in
remember
college.
we went to college. We were roommates. You remember that, right?
Yeah, but you didn't go up to the TV station with me.
Oh, okay.
You might
in
control-
that room. I understand. Okay.
You might control the remote control at the house because you were the only one that didn't have a job. You'd be there holding down the couch all day, controlling that remote control. The rest of us. Pass pod, Dominic. You were Nick back then.
Yes, I was. Still Nick. You know, depends on what phase of life you met.
Patio Nicky.
Yes.
So anyways, here's my regret.
What's that?
Had I carried forward with a television career, being the handsome man that I am, Dom, for surezies, I'd be in line for a White House job right about now.
Yeah, why? What?
Donald Trump now has decided, instead of trying to hire qualified people, just hire people that are telegenic, you know, made for TV, Dom.
Yeah, once again, you are on the radio, but perhaps if you got in front of Trump, Crudy, he'd bring you on.
Does that mean that I'm going to be a hitman? Because I play a hitman a lot on TV, and the last couple people that I worked with, they didn't live.
What? For those that don't know, Fancy Brian, part of the Screen Actors Guild, often finds himself auditioning down in Chicago, and that means probably some mobster role You're probably the bouncer, and you're going to throw someone
my
out of the
latest-
room and then spit on them.
My latest television show, I spit on John Hurd. John Hurd died this past year.
All right, so no spitting in the studio,
But my
Brian.
point is
Toxic
that
spittle.
Trump can't distinguish reality from TV. He might think I'm a bouncer, and I might have to work at the White House.
He's taken all resumes, Brian.
Let's jump in. People think we're just teasing, just having a little Friday fun. No, this is Trump's new hiring policy. Basically, if you got a cable news job, you're probably in line for a White House job. According to the Washington Post, James Holman, Trump may hire multiple cable news personalities as part of shakeup. Oh, God. The big idea, Donald Trump's reality television presidency may be getting some more star power for season 2,
Oh,
Dom.
no. Come on, he couldn't get any stars to show up at his inauguration.
We were there. Dog the Bounty Hunter was there.
Besides us and Dog and Scott Baio.
Chachi.
I met him too.
Trump has decided to remove H.R. McMaster as his national security advisor and is actively discussing Fox News contributor John Bolton,
He's still around.
not Michael Bolton, the guy with the mustache, the god-awful guy from the Bush administration, John Bolton, as a potential successor.
Well, with the
Successor.
with the lying us into war and the Great Recession, hell, he's got a great track record.
Dominic, a leading contender to replace Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin, is Pete Hegseth, the co-host of Foxy Friends Weekend. A leading contender, the president named CNBC analyst and former host Larry Kudlow to replace former Goldman Sachs president Gary Cohn as his chief economic advisor on Wednesday. We'll talk more about Larry Kudlow, Dom.
Oh, that was the guy that said there's no recession coming. Oh, yeah, that's right. He used to talk really fast back then.
You know, most cokeheads paranoid. This one very optimistic about the economy despite the headwinds and the looming national disaster. Very optimistic for a cokehead,
Well,
I'd
he
say.
must have had plenty more in his pocket. Otherwise, he would have been a little more down.
Dom, Heather Newert, a former co-host, also a Foxy Friends, got promoted on Monday from being a spokeswoman for the State Department. And this girl, she's pretty. To acting Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs. She replaces Steve Goldstein, who was fired because he publicly contradicted the White House's claim that Rex Tillerson knew he was being fired before Trump announced it on Twitter. Dom, don't ever contradict the host.
Even if they're lying?
And it's asked here in parentheticals, is it any coincidence that Mike Pompeo got elevated from Langley to Foggy Bottom the morning after he aggressively went to bat for Trump on the Sunday shows? That's, sort of a tryout for the administration, for the cabinet, Dom. You go out, you do the Chuck Todd, you do the Chris Wallace. Hell, you might even have to go over and see the fake news people on CNN. And then what? You get yourself a cabinet secretary position, Dom?
That's the only way to go. I'm going to jump around here a little bit. Crudy, on page 3, Kudlow, we mentioned him. We're going to talk about him in some detail later. One reason, according to the Washington Post, Kudlow was attractive to Trump is that he can go on business news channels to promote his agenda. Ostensibly, Bolton and Hegseth could do the same. The president likes me as a media communicator, so I will be more than happy to oblige, Kudlow told Wednesday night on CNBC. He added that the president had phoned him a few hours earlier when the news broke of his selection to be director of the National Economic Council. The president called and he said, "It's out," Kudlow recalled, and he said, "You're on the air. I'm looking at a picture of you. Very handsome. So Trumpian." What? You have to be handsome and Trumpian.
Well, I'm one of the two. Handsome, that is. You're Trumpian.
But installing cable pundits in decision-making jobs has not worked out very well for Trump thus far. Foreign policy pros were aghast when Trump named Katie McFarland as his deputy national security advisor during the transition. She had appeared frequently on Fox as an analyst and anchored her own program called DEFCON 3.
DEFCON 3!
But the last time she worked in government was more than 3 decades earlier as a junior Pentagon spokeswoman and speechwriter. McFarland got marginalized after Michael Flynn went down. Then Trump nominated her to be ambassador to Singapore, but her nomination needed to be withdrawn when damning emails implicated her in the Russia scandal and imperiled her Senate confirmation.
Trump initially named former Fox talking head Monica Crowley as his senior director of strategic communications for the National Security Council, right? NSC? He stood by her for more than a week as news stories revealed egregious examples of her plagiarism over several years. I thought that's why Sheriff David A. Clark did not get the Trump job, the accused plagiarism in his master's thesis.
Well, we don't know, Crudy. Who knows? It could have been something to do with his travels to Russia.
Well, maybe he got a promotion. Maybe he's working directly for Putin now, Sheriff David A. Clark. Former Sheriff David A. Clark. Back to Trump and Monica Crowley. He stood by her for more than a week as news stories revealed egregious examples of plagiarism over several years, from a 2012 book to her PhD dissertation and op-eds just before the inauguration. Under pressure, the president-elect dumped her.
So what, this guy listens to the last thing he hears and he promotes or offers jobs to the last person he sees on television because they're photogenic, because they're Trumpian and very handsome, Kudlow. I'm not going to sit here and judge Donald Trump's. Yeah, I will. Kudlow's handsome? I don't think so. Do you think Kudlow's handsome?
I don't think you're handsome, but you think you're handsome.
Hey, man, that's all that matters. My parents, bless them, instilled in me a very strong sense of self-worth.
Yes. And humility. Dom, my theory has always been short men cannot be handsome.
What? Come on, man. Most of the rockers, the classic rockers in this world, the rock and rollers, most of them are short.
Dom, one final thought on this topic. Trump may hire multiple cable news personalities as part of the shakeup, reported at the Washington Post.
What about Hannity?
Well, we haven't even gotten to Hannity. Vice President Hannity?
Oh, wow.
Secretary of State Hannity?
If only.
The president reportedly has fewer events on his schedule than he did during the opening year of his presidency, so that he can take some extra executive time in the residence,
yeah.
Which appears to be a euphemism for watching television. That's only intensified the cable news feedback loop. Trump's tweets routinely echo messages, sometimes word for word, that he heard on Fox minutes earlier. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Trump, if you're listening, tune on the Facebook live stream. Check us out, man. We're
beautiful.
Handsome.
Oh, we are. I got to tell you, Crudy, we are literally the best-looking guys in radio.
I'm handsome. That's Trumpian. We are the Devil's Advocates. Come back with us. Join us on phones. They're open to you. Toll free. 844-967-2789.
He's highly respected, very good guy, very smart guy. The Democrats like him, the Republicans like him.
I wonder who they found to pull that off.
If I were to guess, I have one name in mind.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
We are the People for People, People Corporation. We are a registered 501c3, totally legit. What do? We take your uncapped, dark money, tax-deductible donations, private or corporate, always anonymous, and we turn it into free speech. Educate Wisconsin through advertising, which may or may not be in coordination with the candidate. Isn't that illegal? It should be. but it's not under Wisconsin law, thanks Governor Scott Walker. Politicians in Wisconsin are beholden to the millionaire and billionaire sugar daddy and sugar mamas that finance their campaigns. Time to make them beholden to we the people for People Corporation. Give your tax-deductible donation to the real patriots, the People for People Corporation, P for ppc.org, P, the number 4, ppc.org.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker, 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class. Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 3 p.m. Then Right Meets Left with the Joel and Joe Costa Show. Republican State Rep Joel Clayfish and Democratic State Rep Joe Costa Zamarupa go toe-to-toe from 3 to 4. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, or on Twitter at Devil Radio, and always on the phones, toll free. It's Friday, 844-967-2789.
We air grievances on Fridays, Dom, and I wonder if Wisco Paul's got a grievance. Welcome, Paul. How you doing today?
Happy Friday, Devils.
Hey, man, you too.
Hey, you guys are doing a nice job. You come in really good in Madison even, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
You're welcome, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
1580 AM, WTTN, Columbus, Madison.
Yeah, I was out at the airport there, Dane County, and you guys were coming in loud and clear. Hey, my grievance is, I think Fox News is running the country, and that would also be my question. Do you think it's a good idea to put Fox News people, or however you want to say that, in charge of these cabinet positions? And you guys have a great day, all right?
Of course it's a great idea, Paul. What do you
No, what?
Who would doubt this plan?
It's a terrible idea, Paul. Come on. Thanks for the softball.
The pretty people, of course, they should be in charge.
No, I thought the rich people were supposed to be in charge.
Can it be both?
Oh, that's the best kind of cabinet.
The pretty rich people.
Yeah, not just rich.
Pretty and rich.
Does that mean Wilbur Ross is going to go pretty soon?
Not so telegenic, that one. Sort of turkey-necked. Dom, I got one more quick article for our audience's perusal. You can always air your grievances, 844-967-2789. Mine is, I'm already struggling to read here, and it's barely 20 minutes into the show, but let me try again. Hannity and Ingram bash Shep Smith after he calls them entertainment.
Uh-oh, dissension in the ranks.
Well, I don't find them entertaining whatsoever, Dom.
He didn't say it was good entertainment.
Two of the network's biggest premiere stars are now openly feuding with Fox's consummate newsman, demanding that they be taken seriously as journalists, despite all evidence, according to Max Boltani.
Are you a journalist, Crudy?
At the Raw Story, absolutely. Depending on the day. You know, I can wear many hats here, Dom.
Yes.
Businessman extraordinaire, handsome, telegenic co-host, journalist, yes, also that. Despite having previously declared himself not a journalist,
what?
Sean Hannity on Friday demanded he be taken seriously as a news reporter by his colleagues at Fox News. In a Tuesday afternoon tweet, the far-right firebrand criticized his colleague Shepard Smith for describing the Fox News opinion lineup as entertainment rather than informative. Here's what Slan had tweeted. Well, Shep is a friend with political views I do not share and great at breaking news. He is clueless about what we do every day. Handy breaks news daily, Warren on Trump Association, the unmasking scandal, secret societies, that should be in there, leaking intel, FISA abuse, HRC law-breaking dossier, and more real news, 9 p.m. Apparently find him at Hannity. Something that Hannity did tweet back, Dom, you pointed this out, way back in October of 2016. I'm not sure who it was directed towards, but here's what he said at that time via Twitter. I'm not a journalist, jackass. I'm a talk host.
Wait, can it be both? Can he be a journalist and an opinion provider?
Laura Ingram said, always liked Shep, but his comments were inconsiderate and inaccurate. The hardworking team at the Ingram Angle does real reporting, develops important sources, and scores big interviews. Very proud of them. Hashtag Bigly. Come back more Devil's Advocates. We're the bigliest.
What does the fox say?
Fucking thing sucks.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Mom. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom,
buckle
can we get
up.
some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Believe me, there is no collusion. Believe me.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions.
First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with a look at your headlines. The company that owns WISN radio station in Milwaukee and WIBA in Madison filed for bankruptcy yesterday. Johnsonville is recalling smoked sausage products that may be contaminated with plastic. Former Packer Jordy Nelson signed a 2-year deal with the Oakland Raiders for $15 million. The Marquette women's basketball team plays Dayton University today in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and the Bucks are off tonight. Their next game is tomorrow afternoon at 5 when the Atlanta Hawks come to town. Mostly sunny today, then increasing clouds tonight. Lows tonight in the upper 20s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs in the low 40s, and then sunshine on Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels.
All right. Do we know any coke dealers? My cousin's a cokehead.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It's Friday. It's a party day, Dom.
Yeah, it is.
Party lines open, 844-96-PARTY. That's 844-967-2789.
Maybe stay up all night and just roll the whole weekend, man. And technically, if you stay up, Crudy, it's St. Patty's Day right now.
I like how you think, cowboy. Let me point something out. I don't know if you're aware of this, Dom, but the Trump administration does not like mustaches.
Well,
and I've always
Bolton's
just
out then.
Well, one would think that John Bolton might be out. And I've always thought to myself, I only heard this recently, but in that time I've thought to myself, why the no mustache policy?
It's not good. It hasn't been good. We've been against it.
I mean, that's not nice. I mean, we don't know Ivanka how old she is, and I mean, you never, facial hair is a difficult thing sometimes.
Well, my theory on this is, Dom, if you got a mustache, sometimes the cocaine falls out right there. Yeah. And it gets trapped, and people can spot it on the televisions, Dom.
I find it sexy.
Crudy, Axios is reporting. What to know about Trump's new economic advisor, Larry Kudlow.
No mustache. That's all you need to know.
Donald Trump has reportedly selected CNB contributor Larry Kudlow as the next chairman of the White House National Economic Council, a supply-side economist who served in the Reagan administration. Kudlow brings more public sector experience to the job than Gary Cohn did, but his shared contempt for Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs may be a source of strife as he joins the West Wing. All right, no big deal, Crudy.
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Here's some fast facts. I would say fun facts. Kudlow was Associate Director for Economics and Planning in the Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, during Ronald Reagan's first term.
Those were happy days in America, Dom.
The first term of Reagan. Here's another bullet point, Crudy, and I thought this was notable. He joined Bear Stearns as chief economist in 1987, but was fired and entered rehab in 1995 for a $100,000 a month cocaine habit.
That's a lot of blow.
Now,
that's a lot of rails, my friend.
I'm not buying it. I am not.
We are loath to do math on the radio, Dom.
I
but
did a little math.
I know you did.
I couldn't believe what I was reading.
$20 trillion deficit. Dom just takes that math for. But when someone or states in an Axios article that any human being snorted up $100,000 a month of blow.
Come on, man.
And you got to think, if you got that kind of money to expend on your cocaine, right? You're probably getting a good deal.
Economies of scale.
He's not buying it teeners on the street corner, right?
Let's do the quick math here, Crudy. If you assume an 8 ball of cocaine at $250.
Wait. For those that may not have had a
1/8 of an ounce of cocaine.
1/8 of an ounce of
that would be a buy. I mean, that's a standard street lingo, and call it $250 an 8 ball. And I would say,
and if someone started with an 8 ball on Friday night, would they make it to St. Patty's Day?
Yes, presumably that 8 ball would last you a couple of days nonstop. You'd be up a few days. But here's the math. So that's 1/8 of an ounce. Now, at $250, that comes to about $2,000 an ounce. Now, again, if you're buying that much worth, you're probably going to get a break. But we'll assume it's really, really good because the guy's rich, right? It's not getting stomped on. So he gets the really good stuff at $2,000 an ounce.
Bulk rate discount.
So at $2,000 an ounce, that's 50 ounces of cocaine a month.
50 ounces, Tom. How does that equate in, let's call it, kilos?
Well, if we were on Miami Vice, that would be about 1.4 kilos of cocaine a month.
Now, that must have been a happy dealer.
Oh, my.
That's what I call a regular client now.
Yeah. When would you find time to do anything else?
Well, the good news is he didn't waste any time sleeping.
Say hello to my little friend.
So, now, I would submit that there is no way humanly possible that a single human being could live if they snorted 1.4 kilos of cocaine a month. I would think you would die. So, now what's the next step? Presumably,
there could be some ancillary costs going along with the cocaine consumption.
Well, besides the blow, perhaps there's hookers. We don't know, but that's
some Cristal champagne to take that taste out of the ether out of his mouth.
But that's part of the booze habit. This is specifically, as reported in Axios, a $100,000 a month cocaine habit. So,
but you know how braggart cokeheads are. I mean, he's probably rounding up from like $89,000 a month worth of cocaine.
So if you accept my premise that you would die if you consumed that much cocaine, presumably he was sharing, right? Hey, man, I hook you up. I can hang out at my parties, provide a little here, provide a little there. Well, it's one thing to,
bumps in the bathroom.
Yeah, set your friends up. But what if? And we don't know. I'm just speculating
and
here.
Please remember, this is a family-friendly show now.
Of course. I'm only reading the news, man. This is now going to be an advisor to Donald Trump.
The chief financial advisor of the president, right, Don?
Yes, this is who we're talking about.
Hey, man, if a guy's been consuming $100,000 worth of cocaine, I mean, transactionally speaking, this guy's well prepared. I mean, I got to think this man knows all about the art of the deal.
Mike, that's a very good question.
I guess that's my point, Crudy. If he's not consuming 1.4 kilos of cocaine personally and perhaps setting a few buddies up here and there, if he would get, I don't know, reimbursed from somebody, one could make the assumption or the assertion that he was a drug dealer.
I'm not going to go that far.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
I'm not going to go that far because perhaps, one must think if you got $100,000 a month to blow on cocaine, how much money you making? Millions, right?
Sure, but you don't think he's got a buddy that says, oh, man, my guy didn't come through. Can you set me up?
Yeah, here you go.
I'll get you back next time.
There is a rail for you, which is literally as big as a railroad rail, but there it is for you. Have at it, my friend. I mean, do think...
certainly it's speculation, Crudy,
no,
and we
just
don't know that.
Because you've never purchased $100,000 a month worth of cocaine, Don.
I have not.
All your, buddies from back in the day They were all selfish bastards, probably because they didn't have $100,000 a month
I would
to
look at
spend
it
on the
this
cocaine.
way. You know, sometimes you set people up for, I'll buy you around next time you get me around. So, or hey, man, let me get some money. I don't have any cash today, and this bar is cash only. So, you know, I'll pay you back later. Now, if you give me money for drinks and I pay you back later, you don't call me a drug dealer. Although essentially, you could say that in some ways you are. Now, if you do that same thing as, I don't know, if you're purchasing $100,000 of cocaine a month, you probably have some good connections to do so. I don't know. I'm just taking that next
I suspect that guy
step.
delivers.
Gonna need a bigger boat. So yes, I guess this is the president's new advisor, Axios, reporting. What else is important here, Crudy?
So the first time you've done math all year long was to check the metric on Larry Kudlow's
I don't believe it.
reported cocaine consumption.
Yes.
When he was at Goldman Sachs. Well, how does one...
Bear Stearns.
Oh, my bad. Bear Stearns. Over at Bear Stearns, they let anything go.
Hey, in the 80s, man, anything went.
You know, this was the 90s, 95, Dom. This was a...
Oh, okay. Well, he became the chief economist in 87 and was fired in 95. I don't think he got the habit in 95.
Well, one must assume he got fired because of the habit in 95. He still had the habit in 95, Dom. These were no longer the heady days of the 80s. Yeah. He blew right through Club 54, Dom. Now he's just
That's
sitting...
the 70s. You're dating yourself, Crudy.
Now he's sitting home alone looking for nuggets in the carpet. You know, now it's the mid-90s. And so anyways, he leaves Bear Stearns, presumably because he's a freaking addict. Up until then, his job performance was so strong.
He was always at the office.
I mean, this guy's always so accurate with all his forms and math and...
Always first to pick up the phone and greet customers.
You think so?
Yeah, hiding in a closet somewhere.
Could be both. So anyways, he left Bear Stearns, fired. I mean, anyone else, that would be a disgraceful exit. But he landed fairly softly, right, Dom?
Began his media career as an economics editor at the National Review Online and hosted a series of CNBC shows throughout the 2000s. He is now a syndicated columnist and radio host.
So let me get this straight. You get fired from Bear Stearns for $100,000 a month cocaine habit, and you land on your feet immediately. You go work for Buckley over at the National Review, and then you get lots of cable gigs, and now you're being plucked from the cable news to go be the chief economic advisor to Donald Trump. You know, I know it's always been said that Trump doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, but do you think he just wanted Kudlow around for the hookup?
Maybe for the hookers. Who knows? Crudy, he also does have some economic and political views. I'm going to jump in here quick. Let's get through a few of them.
Well, his economic views, I would say, are entirely... I mean, this guy is myopic, Dom. He has got... You please. You go first.
On tax cuts, here's what
does
Kudlow
Axio have to say? We've heard Crudy's opinion.
Trump and the GOP are on the side of the growth angels with the passage of powerful tax cut legislation to boost business investment, wages, and take-home family pay. The Democrats, meanwhile, are left with stale class warfare slogans about tax cuts for the rich. All right, so he seems pretty well in line with the Republicans there. Here's one, Crudy, on tariffs. Even if tariffs save every one of the 140,000 or so steel jobs in America, it puts at risk 5 million manufacturing and related jobs in industries that use steel. In other words, steel and aluminum may win in the short term, but steel and aluminum users and consumers will lose. In fact, tariff hikes are really tax hikes on tariff exemptions. It's a Trumpian way of negotiating.
You know, am I supposed to give him some sort of credit for this? Cokeheads will say anything, Tom.
Well, like put a mic in front of him. I mean, that's why this guy's going to keep talking. You may as well put a mic in front of him and cut it up with some commercials.
I always thought that's what they did with Hannity.
It's a Trumpian way of negotiating. You knock them in the teeth and get their attention, and then you kind of work out a deal. And I think it's what he's done. My hat's off to him. He really had me worried. Now I'm not. On immigration, Kudlow said that
So that's a complete flip-flop? Well, I mean, from tariffs to tariff exemptions, would it take him a day to fall in line with Trump?
essentially. But if you
he was
believe,
a big enough kiss ass, that's why he's getting the job.
If you believe that it's a negotiating tactic, I guess he's saying that, well, of course, Mexico and Canada will be exempt.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Mexico to put the down payment on the big wall.
On immigration, Kudlow said today that he wants the NEC to play a role in immigration policy. He has previously expressed support for Trump's views on immigration and his plans for the same said border wall. And Crudy, I know this is your favorite.
Build that wall.
On the Great Recession in 2007, here is what the new economic advisor to the president said.
Now, 2007, this is before, what, Lehman Brothers crashed?
Yes.
Before the U.S. economy crashed, before the mortgage bubble burst, before real estate prices went into the gutter, before the Great World Recession that, thankfully, Barack Obama helped to stem.
Yes.
What did he say back then in 2007 before it happened, Dom?
The recession debate is over. It's not going to happen. Time to move on. At a bare minimum, we are looking at Goldilocks 2.0, and that's a minimum. The Bush boom is alive and well. It's finishing up its 6th splendid year with many more years to come. And I got to go. My nose is running.
So thank you.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Yep, we are.
It's a little early for talk of cocaine, isn't it?
We're talking politics, man. This is National Economic Advisor to the President of the United States. I'm just, relaying facts to the people. I did not know that Kudlow was a $100,000 a month cokehead. That was news to me when I read it, Crudy. So I am just simply, giving my knowledge to the people.
Once upon a time, you would have thought that was a professional disqualifier.
Yeah?
Under Trump, it moves him to the top of the Rolodex. You need that guy, Dom. Casey Jones, need that. Oh, it's 3 a.m. Trump's up tweeting. Need that guy. Come back with us. Larry Kudlow. Phone lines are open. We always could use that guy. 844-967-2789. Let's think that those youthful discretions are in our youth, Dom, long since forgotten. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates, Wisconsin's only resistance radio network. 1580 Madison, Columbus, 1510 Milwaukee.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
It sounds nice. It's not nice. It's not good.
I didn't hear a word she said. I was looking at the James Brown wig.
You are a madman. I want to party with you, cowboy. The two of us together? Forget it.
So thank you.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I am not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
The Devil's Advocates.
We've got U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. Ron, in all seriousness, if this was Barack Obama, you'd be screaming, "Stormy, stormy, stormy," from the rooftops.
You're too young to understand this excuse. This would be the Sergeant Schultz answer. I know nothing.
But as the chair of the HISCAC, sir, Homeland Security Governmental Affairs Committee, you could get to the bottom of this, could you not, Ron?
I see nothing. I know nothing.
Making radio great again.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years, assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
Hello, I'm State Senator LaTanya Johnson. Making sure Wisconsin residents continue to have equal and fair access to voting is very important to me. Here are some key things you should know. Wisconsin requires a photo ID, and chances are you already have what you need to vote. A Wisconsin DMV-issued driver's license. You can use this even if it's revoked or suspended. A Wisconsin DMV-issued identification card. A military ID issued by the U.S. Uniformed Services, or a U.S. passport book or card. You can use these items even if they're expired, as long as the expiration date is after the most recent general election held on November 8, 2016. For more information about registering to vote, please visit myvote.wi.gov or call the Wisconsin Election Commission Help Desk at 608-261-2028. We won't be taken for granted.
This message was brought to you by WRRD 1510 AM.
The Devil's Advocates. They refuse to do math on the radio.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and airing your grievances on the phones toll-free, 844-967-2789.
Hey, Dom, know what goes great with cocaine?
What?
Porn stars. Let's get to the Stormy Daniels update, Dom.
Oh, yes.
Everybody's wondering what the weather's going to be like. Well, it could be stormy. Apparently, they've moved the date of the playout of the 60 Minutes interview. Mark your calendars, please. March 25th. That's a Sunday, of course. Stormy will be on 60 Minutes, Dom. And her attorney's out doing the cable news, doing the rounds today. We've got the coverage of it, Max Greenwood, at thehill.com. Stormy Daniels' attorney on Friday said that his client had been threatened with physical harm in connection with her alleged affair with President Trump. Asked on MSNBC's Morning Show whether Daniels had ever been threatened with physical harm, Michael Avante succinctly replied, yes.
And we have some sound of that, if you would please, Brian. Cut 3.
Was she threatened in any way?
Yes.
Was she threatened physical harm?
Yes. Oh, wow. Keep going, Mika. No, we started the tease and you just...
What do you mean by that? Was her life threatened?
And he did not answer that question.
He said you're going to have to tune in to the 60 Minutes interview.
It wasn't clear who allegedly threatened Daniels or what the exact nature of the threats were. Avante declined to answer further questions on the subject, saying, as Dom mentioned, people will have to tune in to 60 Minutes on March 25th. Talking about a made-for-television event, Dominic. I cannot wait when CBS is scheduled to air an interview with Daniels. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, is suing to void a non-disclosure agreement that she says prevents her from speaking out about her alleged affair with Trump more than a decade ago.
She was paid $130,000 by Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, weeks before the 2016 presidential election. Hell, that's barely a month worth of blow for Kudlow, Dom. She says the payment was intended to buy her silence about the alleged affair. Cohen has acknowledged making the payment to Daniels, but has insisted that funds came from a personal account, a HELOC, I heard, Dom.
Yeah.
And were not tied to the Trump campaign. Of course, he used the Trump Organization email address, Dom. The White House has denied that Trump ever had an affair with Daniels, and they would probably also deny that, he did cocaine off her butt.
844-967-2789. Let's get some callers in. Mark, you are up. Happy Friday. What's your grievance today?
Happy Friday, guys. Yeah, maybe you'd be happy to do that much blow if you actually think supply-side economics works. I was going to be more lighthearted when I started out and heard this, that if you remember that Crocodile Dundee scene where the guy, he just poured his blow right into the water and said, breathe in the steam. Maybe you guys never saw that movie, but
don't recall it, Mark.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
There we go.
Yeah, I remember that. He said he had a stuffed nose or something. The guy said, well...
Yeah, he got a stuffed nose, and he just kind of took it and got the hot water, poured the teapot over the water, and then just put the towel over his head, and the guy just, breathe that in there.
What's that thing you use?
Get the effect.
Fancy Brian, what's that thing you thanks for the call, Mark?
Neti pot.
The neti pot effect. Well, $100,000 worth of blow will be one hell of a neti pot. It'll clean out your sinuses quite well, I would suspect.
I hadn't thought of that. It's a great idea.
Jeez.
Don't
try it at home, kids.
It will help free you of your seasonal allergies. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Hour 2 is next. We are Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. You don't hear this across the road, do you? Come back with us. Devil's Advocates right here. 844-967-2789. Air your Friday grievances here.
Boy, this looks like very big stuff.
Put that thing away, you're gonna get us all killed!
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property, or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009, or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
My name is Adam Holmes, and I'm proud to be union.
Adam, you're Director of Training for Painters District Council 7. What do you do?
I'm making sure that we're investing in our members. We're providing the safest and best trained painters, glazers, drywall finishers, and trade show workers in the industry, and we also do that at no cost to the taxpayers.
Why hire unions?
Because it costs less to be safe. We keep the contractor on the right side of OSHA and help keep the workmen's comp rates affordable. Join us, Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Failed hacks, toll on the community. I'm Michael Toscano. We're learning more about last year's Russian hacking into U.S. nuclear power plants. Apparently, it didn't get them much.
The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission says that hacking operation did not compromise operations at any of the nation's commercial nuclear plants. In a statement, officials said some of the 99 plants licensed by the NRC were affected by the hack, but that there was no threat to safety, security, or emergency preparedness. U.S. nuclear plants are essentially islands that are not connected to the internet and other networks. About 20% of the nation's electricity is provided by nuclear power. I'm John Stolness.
The Pentagon says hackers tried to compromise Defense Department credit card holders. Citigroup, which manages a financial portal services portal for the military, says the hack failed. In Miami, workers are still digging through tons of rubble that used to be a brand new pedestrian bridge, trying to reach cars crushed when the bridge collapsed. The death toll still 6. Natasha Chen telling us it's taking a toll on the community.
We know that one of the deceased is a female student at Florida International University. This is hitting this community so hard. We're even seeing footage of police officers with religious leaders just taking a moment on the scene and praying.
Investigators say the cables supporting the span were being tightened following a stress test when it collapsed. Word that President Trump is considering sweeping tariffs on imports from China have stoked fears of a trade war on Wall Street. And Ann Cates tells us even a slight gain today couldn't keep stocks from showing a loss for the week.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 73 points, but is down 1.5% this week. The S&P 500 gained 5 points, while the Nasdaq rose a fraction. But both indexes are off 1% for the week.
Thanks, Ann. 88-year-old Democratic Congresswoman Louise Slaughter of New York has passed away. She was in her 16th term. She suffered a concussion in a fall last week.
Hey, folks. Sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Please tune in Saturday, March 24th from noon to 3 p.m. when Earl Ingram anchors special coverage of the 10th Annual Wisconsin Grassroots Festival from Mazomanie, People Organizing for Solutions. Speakers include Lisa Graves, John Nichols, Matt Rothschild, Congressman Mark Pocan, and Senator Tammy Baldwin. Tune in right here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, Saturday, March 24th, noon to 3.
.com/backup.
Michael Avenatti, the attorney for porn star Stormy Daniels, says somebody had threatened her in the past with physical violence to prevent her from talking about a sexual relationship with Donald Trump. Bob Costantini has White House reaction to this latest twist in the continuing saga.
Presidential Press Secretary Sarah Sanders responds to the attorney for Stormy Daniels' accusations that Daniels has been physically threatened, intimidation to keep her from talking about an alleged affair with Donald Trump in 2006.
We take the safety and security of any person seriously. Certainly would condemn anyone threatening any individual, but I have no knowledge of that situation and would refer you to the president's outside personal attorneys.
One of his outside attorneys, Michael Cohen, has admitted paying Daniels $130,000 to get her to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Daniels now believes, since it was not signed by Donald Trump under the pseudonym David Dennison, she's free to talk about the matter, starting with 60 Minutes. Bob Costantini, the White House.
I'm Michael Toscano.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with a look at your headlines. Accounts linked to Russia sent out tweets during the Sherman Park unrest in Milwaukee to stoke the flames of racial tension, blame Democrats for the chaos, and spread conservative propaganda. Former U.S. Attorney General under Barack Obama Eric Holder was in Milwaukee yesterday to support Judge Rebecca Dallett in her run for state Supreme Court and to pressure Governor Walker to call for special elections to fill 2 state legislative seats. And the Bucks are off tonight. Their next game is tomorrow afternoon at 5 when the Atlanta Hawks come to town. Mostly sunny today, then increasing clouds tonight. Lows tonight in the upper 20s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs in the low 40s, and then sunshine on Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It's a partying Friday around here. Perhaps we don't party like Kudlow parties.
No, guess not.
You know, I was trying to do a little more research on this topic during the course of this breakdown. You're right, $100,000 seems like a lot of cocaine. I looked at the Wisconsin Department of Justice website. They claim you can buy a kilo, if you will, of cocaine.
Right, 1,000 grams.
For $20,000 to $28,000, you know, the price of a nice new Honda. But if Kudlow's spending $100,000 a month, that's what, 5 kilos of cocaine?
I know. I was giving him in my math the benefit, a great benefit of the doubt.
Now, here is one other article I saw. A guy from the Independent UK reported that he was busted. He got this bright idea. He was going to go to South America, Lima, Peru specifically. And this was in 1996. This is right about Kudlow's heyday, right before he gets blown out.
I think he went into, 94? So this is
off Wall Street, 95.
95, all right.
So this guy would fly down to Lima, Peru. He'd buy a kilo for $2,500, and he'd sell it to Kudlow back in New York. It doesn't say specifically Kudlow, but if you're consuming that much, there's some chance that some of that snow went up Kudlow's nose. Would sell a kilo for about $80,000 on the street in those time frames.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the math, I mean, I think I'm being generous. 1 point, certainly at least 1, and up perhaps, depends on economies of scale and who your suppliers are, up to 4 or 5 kilos a month.
And there is vast variances in how much cocaine costs around the country.
Certainly.
Currently, at least if I understood the reporting, in Los Angeles, you know, La La Land, cocaine can be acquired for like $16 a gram. No wonder why
16?
$16 per gram.
That's cheap, yeah.
That seems very cheap. No wonder why all the Hollywood stars are so skinny dumb. At $16 a gram, that's cheaper than what? Jenny Craig.
It's cheaper than a Patron Neat.
That is inexpensive cocaine. Apparently, Iowa City, Iowa, $125 a gram.
So
you're going to sell a lot of corn liquor to make $125 to turn around and buy a gram of cocaine.
Well, maybe Kudlow will fly down to Lima, Peru, and up to Iowa City. You never know. Maybe he'll be on the Trump 2020 team. He'll have to run for a re-election. Maybe he'll be around.
Now, doesn't Trump, until very recently, have a hotel down Panama Way?
Yes, he did. I don't think he's no longer managing that hotel. There's been some issues.
Do you think that was like a midpoint for the accounts receivable sort of, you just send it to Panama and we'll get it home from there.
Well, that and the Russians, of course. Yes, of course. All sorts of perhaps shady dealings going on at Trump Panama.
Well, we'll talk more about Trump and condos and Russians. But let's get back to conversations about porn stars.
See, this is the world we live in.
Stormy. Dom, her attorney, Michael Avante, doing the rounds today. Started out at the morning show, and we heard Mika Brzezinski. She asked a few of the questions. Let's replay this in case some are joining us late. And where you been? Off doing rails, I bet. Here it is, the statement made by Stormy Daniels' attorney that she was threatened. If you would, Fancy Brian, play cut 3.
Was she threatened in any way?
Yes.
Was she threatened physical harm?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Keep going, Mika. No, we started the tease and you just...
What do you mean by that? Was her life threatened?
Was her life threatened?
No, Avante didn't answer that. Well, he did, but he didn't answer it directly. He said, you got to watch 60 Minutes on March 5th. March 25th, put it on your calendars. I'll be watching, Dom. I strongly suspect.
Will be.
So anyways, the White House, Sarah Huckabee Colonel Sanders was asked this question. She was all pretty in pink today, Dom.
And still have the pearl necklaces.
Quite radiant today.
Here is Stormy Daniels on the threat claims cut number.
Well, this is Sanders on the Stormy Daniels.
What did I say? Stormy's?
Yeah.
There's just so much. Here is Trump spokesperson regarding the Stormy Daniels.
The Chief of Staff actually spoke to a number of staff this morning, reassuring them that there were...
cut 2.
We take the safety and security of any person seriously. Certainly would condemn anyone threatening any individual, but I have no knowledge of that situation and would refer you to the president's outside personal attorneys.
I'm not sure what her job is precisely, other than to look pretty up there, Dom.
Deflect.
She really doesn't have a clear sense ever of what Trump's thinking. Or
for her,
he's already clarified that point.
Her talent is not giving a damn when she goes up there and says nothing. I mean, this is what she does. This is what she's paid to do.
She has that unique quality, much like Scott Walker. She can look you dead in the eye with either eye, but never both at the same time. It's sort of Marty Feldman-ish. Dom, more news on the Stormy attorney tour. Apparently, he also went over to the CNN this afternoon, and Veronica, fine journalist over at CNN, first name Veronica. Hey, hi. I feel like Earl right now, waving at all the pretty girls through the window. But Dom, let's talk about Stormy's lawyer. The lawyer representing the adult film star Stormy Daniels alleges that some accusations she's making against President Donald Trump, and listen closely, Dom, I'll try not to step on it. Some of the accusations Stormy, is making against President Donald Trump occurred while Trump was in office, her lawyer said Friday. No longer celebrity apprentice Trump, no longer private citizen Trump.
Or even candidate Trump.
Sitting President Trump. Here's the quote. If there is anything in the litany of accusations, you would call them facts that surround this case that happened while Donald Trump was president, CNN's Jake Tapper asked Michael Avante, Daniels' lawyer, during an interview Friday. Yes, Avante replied. When asked by Tapper if he could elaborate, Avante gave a simple no. Avante had claimed earlier Friday in an interview with CNN's Chris Cuomo, and let's not forget Mika Brzezinski before that Daniels was physically threatened to stay silent about what she knew about Donald Trump. So this isn't, I'm gonna hurt you. This is, I'm going to hurt you if you don't stay silent. And let me read on. He declined to provide further details about who made the threat during that interview, including whether or not it was Trump or someone associated with him. CNN had reached out to Larry Rosen, a lawyer representing Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney, and Jill Martin, a Trump organizational lawyer who has been involved in legal matters related to the Daniels allegations. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said Friday during the White House press conference that she has no knowledge of that situation and referred reporters to Trump's personal attorneys. We heard that sound. Avanti reiterated to Tapper Friday that the public will have more details about Daniels' upcoming interview on CBS's 60 Minutes, slated to air on March 25th. I think that when the American people hear from my client, who will provide details, very specific details related to this threat, they will conclude, as I have, that this was not a random threat by some wingnut out of the blue. So when you first brought this headline to my attention earlier today, I had not heard it yet, doing a little business this morning, hadn't yet prepped for the show. And I said, the headline that Trump supporter might have threatened Stormy Daniels.
Right, there's a lot of
trolls on
right.
Twitter, right?
Yep.
Could be any wingnut righty saying, I'm gonna. But that is not what Mr. Avanti, the counsel for Stormy Daniels, is saying. Let me read it again for point of clarity. I think that when the American people hear from my client, who will provide details, very specific details related to this threat, they will conclude, as I have, that this was not about a random threat by some wingnut out of the blue. Not a Twitter troll, I believe is what Avanti is telling us right now, Dom, or at least told Jake Tapper on CNN earlier.
Now, let's if we extrapolate from that, if on March 25th, Stormy Daniels and her attorney go on 60 Minutes and specifically state someone from the Trump transition, the Trump organization, from the White House.
Trump's lawyer, Trump's kid,
right,
Trump's son-in-law.
Right, someone connected to Trump.
If you talk, this will befall you.
Right. If that happens,
you're going to get hurt. We're going to break your kneecaps. Your face won't be so pretty anymore.
Is there any repercussion? I mean, look at what we've had to put up with. Look how far we've fallen so far.
Donnie Deutsch, he also a CNBC guy, I believe. Donnie Deutsch credited earlier today, say this would be a line farther. This would bring down the presidency if Donald Trump threatened a woman to keep her silent while president. This is a little beyond some of the earlier transgressions that we've heard about during the Trump year of terror, quite frankly.
I'm not clear that it is. I mean, it's certainly a little bit farther than
legally,
we know,
it certainly would be.
No question about it. But
extortion,
given the man's
blackmail,
behavior, threatening physical violence to keep your mouth shut, that's pretty gangster style. No, I would agree, but I'm not convinced that the Republican Party, as it stands right now, the GOP, this administration, they're all in on it. What makes you think that even if this is to be true, that Speaker Ryan would push back whatsoever, that Mitch McConnell would push back whatsoever? I mean, he was caught on tape.
How about a court of law?
He was caught on tape already admittingly physically assaulting people. Didn't matter. Now, if he's threatening to physically assault them, you think that's a step forward?
Dom, you know who is often violent? It's not stoners. It's cokeheads. Just saying,
Larry Kudlow.
Threatening sometimes. Think Kudlow called her?
No.
Early role as part of the new White House position. Hey, go shut that porn star up already.
The National Economic Council. I think it's more of a Fredo job.
I was thinking of Jeff Sessions' job. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. It's Friday. Thank God. Phone lines open. Toll free. 844-967-2789.
Trouble with you is the trouble.
The president in no way, form, or fashion has ever promoted or encouraged violence.
So if you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously.
So thank you.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Music is a bridge
between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, it's my job to make sure your network is up 99.999% of the time. Technology is constantly evolving, and keeping your business up to date in an ever-changing environment can be a hassle. At Five Nines, we're here to help. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. Better IT gives your business a competitive advantage. Learn how Five Nines can help at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Daryl Ingram of News Talk 1510 WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, and I am the Director of Advertising and Marketing. The pride of our independent stands runs deep in all that we do here at the station. The thing that I know for sure is that you can count on the quality and independent production of client advertising, mirroring the quality and independence of our fine programming here at News Talk 1510. To learn more, contact me at 414-335-0851 or via email at daryl@newstalk1510am.com.
The Devil's Advocates, because it's always 420 somewhere.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show at the 420 break. You can join us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we got some pretty girls around here. We got Joe Costa Zamaripa, a fine state lawmaker and a fine hostess of WRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio's own Joel and Joe Costa show. Check that out tomorrow. I think she had to come down and name drop.
Yeah?
She just bumped into the former Attorney General of the United States.
Hey,
they
know that guy.
pre-recorded that show, Joel and Joe Costa, but they were at the same place we were at the other day, the Field and Table in Madison. He did an event, Eric Holder, in Madison, apparently came and rubbed shoulders with Joel and Joe Costa, at least on his way to the restroom or some better interview format. I'm winking at her. She can see me. I'm doing that for your sake, Joe Costa. Dom, we have another friend, and he's a funny guy, and he is Will Durst, Milwaukee's own comedian, and he does commentaries for our audience right here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. We're going to play it for you now. I hope it's funny. It usually is. Our friend, comedian Will Durst.
Hey, guys.
Will Durst here with a few choice words about March Madness. Normally, it's a phrase associated with the wacky, zany antics surrounding the NCAA college basketball tournament. But this year, it doubles as a description of the equally nutty, loony goings-on around the White House. The month of March proverbially comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. But this big cat seems to have settled in and might require an extra-large litter box. In just the first 2 weeks, Donald Trump has demonstrated all the dignity and grace of a drunken mountain lion with irritable bowel syndrome. He stunned his own staff by announcing a surprise summit with former arch-nemesis Kim Jong-un. Wouldn't be surprised to hear him refer to it as the Short Fat Summit. During a futile campaign rally, he called African-American Congresswoman Maxine Waters a low-IQ individual. And MSNBC anchor Chuck Todd a sleepy son of a bitch, putting him in the lead for a repeat win as Lout of the Year. Then he mocked the Canadian Prime Minister by bragging he had made stuff up at one of their meetings, making one think that the next meeting might be a little less cordial. At least 5 staffers were asked to leave the Oval Office, and he fired his Secretary of State in a tweet and is preparing to get rid of his second National Security Advisor. You may remember the first National Security Advisor pled guilty to lying to the FBI. And that might be part of the problem. It was revealed on the Ides of March that the special counsel subpoenaed documents relating to the Trump crime family's business interests in Russia. Et tu, Mueller? And the scariest part is we've gotten used to this sort of thing. Nobody's overly excited because we already survived January madness and February madness, and you wouldn't go wrong betting that April madness is poised to smack us upside the head next. For WRRD 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, I'm Will Durst.
Thank you, Will Durst, a funny guy, Milwaukee's own. He's a fine comedian. He used to sell some weed up on the street, we heard many moons ago, Dom.
Down on Brady Street in Milwaukee, a fine place to be. You can always join us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dom, it feels like we're sort of in the center of the party. Exactly where we want to be with you. Of course, you can join us.
It's the political party, man.
It's the party line, 844-96-PARTY, 844-967-2789. Joe Costa, happy second birthday of the week that she's apparently celebrating. Got her sister buying her drinks now.
And happy early St. Patrick's Day.
Happy, happy, joy, joy. Come back with us. Devil's Advocates. Thank God it's Friday.
We're like the stupid people. I find it sexy.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward. It's the right way to clean.
I got to tell you, so when I first moved to Green Bay to play football in '92, I had never been to Wisconsin. But the funniest thing I thought, you could not buy hamburger patties without a dollop of butter on them.
Folks, just so you know, if you take a little bit of herb butter and put it in the middle of a patty and just kind of mold it around there, you get magic.
I have one of my arteries right now.
How much did you say you weighed?
I'm gaining weight with my thoughts right now.
You're $3 bills and some change already, brother.
Guns, Butter, Economics, 414 Wisconsin, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Well, you are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Ooh, I just felt a trickle down. No, I don't recall doing it.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Excuse me, I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with a look at your headlines. Accounts linked to Russia sent out tweets during the Sherman Park unrest in Milwaukee to stoke the flames of racial tension, blame Democrats for the chaos, and spread conservative propaganda. Johnsonville is recalling smoked sausage products that may be contaminated with plastic. Former Packer Jordy Nelson signed a 2-year deal with the Oakland Raiders for $15 million. And the Marquette women's basketball team plays Dayton University today in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Mostly sunny today, then increasing clouds tonight, lows tonight in the upper 20s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs in the low 40s, and then sunshine on Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels.
The Devil's Advocates, radio for the 99%.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's Friday, thank God. We always Is that like Javanka? We always enjoy airing our grievances.
You're not even reading off of a piece of paper. It's
I know.
coming out of your mouth.
My mouth is, kind of clenched. Stayed up way too late last night.
You and Kudlow partying, huh?
No, none of those sort of problems anymore. Those are in my far distant
the
past.
old, the Bear Stearns days.
But something that Donald Trump will not readily be able to turn the page on. Russia. And perhaps it's not all about collusion, Dom. There's also some issues with, let's call it, money laundering for Russian oligarchs. We've heard these stories.
You can't
on
do
the
that?
fringes.
You can't do that if you're president. I think if you're president, you can do anything, right?
Well, before he was president, he was a real estate developer of many, many condos. And he had a guy that helped him make some of these deals. Felix Sater, one of Donald Trump's shadiest former business partners, is reportedly preparing for prison time.
How do you prepare for prison time? Do you get your affairs in order?
Absolutely, you get your affairs in order, Dom.
If I'm in prison, I'm not going to worry about paying the cable bill.
He says the press.
I'm just saying, let it go. In fact, I maybe just run up all the credit cards while you're at it.
Kids got nothing but Netflix and rabbit ears to make it through till you get out of prison, man? Kind of a cruel human being, are you? Felix Sater, one of Donald Trump's shadiest former business partners, is reportedly preparing for prison time, and he says the president will be joining him behind bars. Sources told The Spectator's Paul Wood last year that special counsel Robert Mueller's deep dive into Trump's business practices may be yielding results. Trump recently made remarks that could point to money laundering scheme. Wood reported, here's a quote, Dom. I mean, it's possible this was from the president. Don't you know? I mean, it's possible that there's a condo or something. So, you know, I sell a lot of condo units and someone from Russia buys a condo. Who knows? The president said. Now, that conversation, Dom, was with the New York Times. That was last year.
And we played a cut of that yesterday. And if I just may interject here, isn't this the same guy who's got the greatest memory ever? So who knows? What do you mean, who knows? You know, if you got the greatest memory ever, you know exactly who you sold what Russians you sold condos to.
So many condos, so little time to remember, Dom. Sater, who has a long history of legal troubles and is cooperating with law enforcement, was one of the major players responsible for selling Trump's condos to the Russians. And according to Wood sources, Sater may have already flipped and given prosecutors the evidence they need to make a case against Trump. Now, this is inset, Dom. For several weeks, this is from the original source article, we're reading the Raw Stories abridged version. For several weeks, there have been rumors that Sater is ready to rat again, agreeing to help Mueller. He has told family and friends he knows he and POTUS are going to prison. Someone talking to Mueller's investigators informed me.
Sater hinted in an interview earlier this month that he may be cooperating with both Mueller's investigation and congressional probes of Trump.
The only interviews I'd be doing at this point if I were Sater are in front of the grand jury under subpoena. I wouldn't be doing the media rounds.
In about the next 30 to 35 days, I will be the most colorful character you have ever talked about, Sater told New York Magazine. Unfortunately, I can't talk about it now before it happens. And believe me, it ain't anything as small as whatever or not. They're going to call me to the Senate committee. Sater is not the only one rumored confidant to have turned against Donald Trump. An attack on a former Trump campaign manager, Paul Manafort, by the National Enquirer, a friendly outlet for the president, suggests he may have already turned over damaging evidence to the authorities. Man, we know when the National Enquirer comes after you, you know Trump's not happy.
So Sater, the guy that sold the condos to the Russians, according to this Raw Story piece, Dom, quoting the original piece at The Spectator, UK. But this guy did the business deals. So you got to think, if someone approached this guy and said, hey, I got 10 million rubles. What do I do with it? I can't put it in a bank. What do I do with the cash? And this guy is, making the transactional dealings on behalf of Trump? And one must think.
You think he's a licensed realtor?
Only realtors can call themselves realtors.
Right.
Perhaps he's only a real estate agent, Dom. One doesn't know for sure. Hopefully he's fully licensed and accredited in his home state of business.
Wherever that may be.
But you know from your former life as a commercial realtor, you did that kind of work for a bit.
I sure did.
And I know as my former life as a fiduciary, Dom, one can only do as one's client directs us to do. I mean, nobody gives carte blanche to the realtor, right?
Right.
So the realtor is just the middleman, just the fixer, just the one that goes and does the legwork, helps make the logistical arrangements. You wire the money through Wilbur Ross's bank in Cyprus. We'll bounce it through Panama and back to Trump's offshore account. Those sort of important logistical things that are just beneath the boss, if you know what I'm saying. But then you got to go tell the boss all the hard work you've been doing and get a pat on the back.
And a piece of the action.
And perhaps a long prison term, Tom, which one prepares for by getting their affairs in order. You know what that might literally mean?
What?
Soap on a rope.
Jeez,
soap on a rope shopping.
844-967-2789. What is it with all these the teases? You know, everyone's got something to say, but no one's going to do it right now. You got to wait. You got to wait to tune in to the 25th. You got to wait for Sater's testimony.
Dom, I've got a great answer to that question. But first, this commercial break. Yeah, let's take one off, Fancy Brand. It works with the theme. You know what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying.
It's Friday. We air grievances. We want to hear from you. It can't all be Dominic's frivolous rantings, cocaine math, and porn stars, and
now, Crudy,
Russian-bought condos.
And this is just talking politics in America right now. It's not even talking about our youthful indiscretions. But, Crudy, you said it. You and I, in our lifetimes, we've both been fiduciaries. We are responsible when we were fiduciaries
for other people's money
and to act in their best interest, not in our own.
Well, if I was acting in my best interest, I wouldn't be doing a radio show with you. Now, would I?
You are a lucky, lucky man.
Come back with us, Devil's Advocates. You're all lucky, lucky people. You get to hear us each weekday, 3 to 6, right here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, 1580, 1510 AM, Madison, Columbus, Waukesha, Milwaukee. Your calls welcome, 844-967-2789. Dom can't carry the load. He has skinny little shoulders.
Russia, if you're listening.
To conceal the source of money as by channeling it through an intermediary.
To me, this is a very, very sexy subject.
Watch out for your cornhole, bud.
Don't bother. I'll call my driver.
So thank you.
Hey, folks. Sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
You concerned about speaking up at work? Do you feel like you have no say in your day-to-day work routine? Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545 get a seat at the table. Join your brothers and sisters in negotiating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, and be part of the most powerful union in North America. Teamsters Local 344 covers sales and service throughout Southeast Wisconsin and package and airlines statewide. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. What about simply raising the age of weapons purchases to 21 years of age?
We're sending 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds over to Afghanistan, and they're dying. They ought to be able to vote. They ought to be able to have a beer, and they ought to be able to buy a gun to hunt with as well.
Are you suggesting we lower the drinking age?
No. Can't they do that now? What is the age nowadays?
It's 21, sir.
We drink when we toast. We toast when we drink.
Yikes.
The Devil's Advocates. Political commentary from the back of the class.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. We also stream on the Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the phone line's always open. Air your grievances on Fridays, 844-967-2789.
Dom, we'll get to the people's grievances, but let me lay one on you right now.
All right, brother.
I got no rum for my tummy tum.
Oh, it's almost happy hour, man.
It's almost the happy hour. I can't even have a cold one.
On a Friday.
Of my preferred spice rum beverage.
You are a Captain Morgan guy.
I am, although they don't pay me to say that. Right. You could have just said you got any Captain in you. No is the answer. I don't. And that overpriced little liquor store, man, that's too far down the street for me to make it during a 4 to 6 minute commercial break and get back.
If you run, you might be able to make it.
Why is the rum always gone?
And perhaps grab a bag of ice while you're there and run back.
I could not do that. I'd be all huffy and puffy. I wouldn't be able to blow your house down when I got back. So here's a small ask of our audience. I did this once with banana bread. It worked.
It did work, yes.
So I'm going to try the experiment again. Once upon a time, one of our lesser prior producers teased me. She said something to the effect, that'd be as good as banana bread. I'm like, oh, you've got banana bread, just as we're going on the air. And she's like, oh, no, that's a figure of speech.
It's a saying, right.
And I'm thinking, no, it's not.
Now I want banana bread.
Now I want banana bread. And so I made a call, just like I'm making the call right now. I said it to the universe, to all the listeners at that moment in history. Hey, anyone want to bring me some banana bread? And like 15 minutes later, I had banana bread with butter, and that young man, I think I gave him a hug and ate all that banana bread and licked my lips and fingers.
It was good.
Some yummy. I maybe even shared a piece.
You did. You were very nice, Kurt.
I'm feeling very generous with the found banana bread.
Well, you had like a pound of it.
The gifted banana bread.
Yes.
What did you say, about half a kilo of banana bread we had that day?
Maybe a kilo, maybe a full kilo.
Well, here's all I need. Something approaching a liter of spiced rum.
Oh, come on. You'll take a little one just to get you through.
A little?
Yeah, right.
Bigger than a shot, though. I need more than a cup, because I don't do singles.
The airplane bottles?
Those.
Something a little bigger than that.
Those are just a tease, Dom.
Or bring like 4 of those.
No, I need like the alcoholic size, 0.7. Okay.
A 1.75?
A 0.75 or larger. But if anyone's out there in radio land and they want to come down to our Brady Street studio and hook a brother up, I'd be eternally grateful.
Would you put him on the air?
Hell yes.
Yeah, if you got something to say, there you go.
If I had 2 wishes this season.
2?
If I had 2 wishes, we have the one wish. If we, of course, rum for Crudy. But if we had 2 wishes.
2.
I just throw out there like beer. Maybe a little bit of beer. I'm just throwing,
we have beer.
We had 2 wishes.
We have beer.
I'll be right back.
We have beer.
Yeah, in the little mini fridge.
Oh, all right. Well, we always could use a little more beer.
If I had 3 wishes this holiday season.
Some scotch or tequila.
You know what? It is St. Patrick's Day, and if there is Irish whiskey out there to be had,
yes.
Don't bring me that Protestant crap, though.
Buddy, we've got some aged whiskey right there. all we lack for...
You know, if I had 4 wishes this St. Patrick's Day season...
Let's get to the phones, 844-967-2789.
Just for the record, though, for all the listeners, just to stay on point, we have one wish that's meaningful and purposeful.
To Crudy.
And that is the wish for spiced rum at 1224 East Brady Street.
Any spiced rum, or is there a particular...
Oh, there's only one brand that will do.
Yeah?
I need a little captain in me,
all right.
Dom.
See, I knew you had to say it, because there's many kinds of spiced rum, but you have your favorite.
I know. I get really grumpy when I go to an establishment and they don't have my brand.
Yeah. Come on, man, step up. Start drinking straight booze. You don't need that spicy rum. The soda will kill you.
I got soda in the bag. I just need a little spicy rum.
844-967-2789. Annie
Please.
from Watertown, thank you for putting up with us. You are next. Happy Friday. What do you got for us?
Oh, you seem to be covering all my former vices. I didn't hear. I was busy working yesterday. If you knew that you did get bottom of the front page on Watertown Daily Times.
You know, I had heard that wonderful news. They had covered the contract we have now entered into on WTTN 1580 AM. WTTN, that stands for Watertown.
Yeah, headed by CEO Michael Crute.
Crute.
Also, yes. But my grievance, I'm majorly grieved. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't look at the paper until this morning. Well, I don't know. But the same place in yesterday's paper, they, in covering the students' walkout,
yes,
they gave, like, in newspaper talk, just an inch short. They have 24 inches to this guy, I would say. A freshman standing, they have a picture of him. I stand for my Second Amendment rights. I'll be staying in school. T-shirt wearing kid. They let him, they wrote the whole thing about what he said and his father, and it's all NRA right-wing talking points on gun rights.
Annie, I got to ask, very important question in all sincerity. Which article is bigger, the Crudy WTTN article or the Second Amendment Kid article?
The Second Amendment Kid. Damn it! You know, I subscribe to the paper, even though it seems to be little more than a promotional device for Cleefish, Jagler, Fitzgerald, and pictures of the local school happenings. It's not very, sports too. And editorials from places like Orange County Register. But, and everybody says, why do you pay for that? Well, I'm beginning to wonder now, because this is just really popped my cork. I don't know. I mean,
what was the circumstance in Watertown? Were there a lot of kids walking out of school? I mean, obviously you said the local paper gave lots of attention to this kid who did not. What about the rest of them?
In the equal length article that covers 4 different school activities, in that article of the same length, apparently in Watertown, they just let them go into an area. I think they didn't. If you wanted to leave class, you had to have permission from your parents.
Mm-hmm.
60 students only participated. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody else.
About how many kids at the Watertown High School, Annie?
Oh God.
Ballpark.
I would say 1,500, 1,200 to 1,500. I don't know. I could. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There were 350 in my class in the 70s. I mean, it's
going back, Annie.
Back to the Vice days, Annie.
Yeah. Amazing how all those kids that thought I was a freak because I smoked pot later came to me after school and after, in the years later, and they were all cokeheads. Apparently, that was more conducive to conservative society.
Andy, so you got lots of friends in the Trump administration?
Yeah. It was interesting here that they had in Jefferson that they let them go out and stand by the statue or this, that, but they went to the gym. The middle school students, I think, went to the gym, and they had a police officer there.
Annie, there were lots of cops driving around Middleton. There were, I think, a kid that brought a gun in either Pewaukee or Pulaski. I think there were some fears. The big event in Madison at the Capitol Square, there were sniffing dogs, I suspect, for bombs, not weed, because they'd have found Dom for surezies. And there were people, specifically, I think it was SWAT teams on the roofs up there. I think perhaps some sort of threat had been made, some threat of harm.
Or they're just being cautious because that's what they do.
An overabundance of cautious on behalf of the 5-0.
Yes, always in the Capitol.
What about, have you heard about some of these students being punished for their participation? I mean,
Wisconsin Republican Attorney General Brad Schimmel claims he will further investigate the investigators of the John Doe 2 investigation because it was all a part of... Yeah, Chicago, like 1,000...
Apparently I'm being punished.
In Chicago, I heard one of the school districts down there put a bunch of kids into like a detention or whatever. But they're going to wear like a badge of honor. Yeah, so what? I mean, you got detention. I was talking to some friends.
Breakfast Club style?
You're right. What did you skip school for? You know what I mean? I skipped school for all sorts of reasons. None of them.
No noble reasons.
No noble reasons like this. No, absolutely not. It's an entirely different time. I feel like an old timer saying that, but that was not my motivation. For these kids to do that, again, it's a lesson learned. This is our world. So embrace it. Take your hour, and remember that when you get to be of age and can vote on the school board or vote in an election.
I didn't verify the district. I don't think it's Wisconsin, but some kids corporally punished got the paddle down.
The paddle?
The paddle.
Think you may have another?
Arkansas, says Gary in there.
Arkansas, think you may I have another? Yeah. Try that. No, that would not roll for me.
I went to school in North Carolina.
My ground.
And I was corporally punished one time. Me and my friend Curtis, we were singing in the bathroom. I think it was
How dare you?
Billy Joel tune, For the Longest Time, or some sort of a cappella sort of thing. It was the mid-'80s. And we were singing. And Mrs. Weathers, my mole with the hair in it having fifth grade teacher, comes running into the bathroom. And it was a little off-putting, I got to say, as a young man, to have my manhood in my hand and have my teacher yelling at me, "What are you loud kids? You're going to get punished." So anyways, our punishment was a paddling. And we didn't tell Mrs. Weathers that Friday. So the following Friday...
You didn't remind her of your punishment?
We got double down punishment.
2 paddles?
2 whops on the ass by a big, thick board.
Did she rub it afterwards? Make it
corporal
go
punishment?
Away?
No. Hell, Curtis had like 8 of them coming. I mean, this poor kid. We are the Devil's Advocates. He had a much better singing voice. If anyone was to be paddled, right. It should have been me. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Phone lines open for your grievances. 844-967-2789.
Why is the rum always gone?
I've not yet begun to defile myself.
So thank you.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more, it's a no-brainer, I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
They'll challenge your authority because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTT.
Standing pat for now, still searching. I'm Rich Johnson.
No immediate personnel changes at this time.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders on the status of the top people in the West Wing, but rumors of shakeups persist both at the White House and among the cabinet members.
At least 4 cabinet secretaries are under fire for excessive use of taxpayer funds. Veteran Secretary David Shulkin for charging his wife's travel to Europe to the agency. Scott Pruitt for hefty travel costs. HUD Secretary Ben Carson for running up expensive furnishings for his office. And Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke for pricey private flights on the taxpayer's dime.
Correspondent Ryan Nobles in Washington. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster told a reporter today, as of today, he's on the job, but everyone leaves at some point. They fear there will be more fatalities under the rubble of a pedestrian bridge that collapsed yesterday in Miami. The death count right now is 6. Correspondent Natasha Chen has been watching the rescue effort.
The most painful part of today has been this slow process of trying to clear the rubble and debris. It's very difficult to move the pieces while still looking at this one piece of the bridge that's pretty precariously set. They're trying to get at victims undoubtedly trapped underneath.
A very direct accusation from Great Britain today regarding the poisoning of a former Russian spy and his daughter who live in the UK. Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson is pointing the official finger directly at Russia's president.
We think it overwhelmingly likely that it was his decision to direct the use of a nerve agent on the streets of the UK, on the streets of Europe, for the first time since the Second World War. Johnson's
words come on the same day police in London discovered the body of an exiled Russian businessman. Police say he died from a compression to the neck. Despite a small gain today, the Dow lost about 1% for the week as traders are nervous about a looming trade war with China. The Dow closed up 73 points, the Nasdaq unchanged. I'm Rich John.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella, Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. We provide 99.999% uptime. That's the highest availability performance you can get. You have enough to worry about with your business data, web, security, and cloud services, so we'll manage your IT so you don't have to. Visit 59s.com. That's the number 5NINES.com.
Tune in to The Resistance, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Start your weekday off with the Earl Ingram Show from 7 to 9 a.m. Next is the Stephanie Miller Show from 9 to 11. Then from 11 to 2, it's the Tom Hartman Program. At 2 o'clock, it's 414 Wisconsin. Then from 3 to 6, it's the Devil's Advocates. Mandatory listening. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
7 Web Now 1.
The search for a missing chemical plant worker in Texas is now a recovery effort.
The body of one worker is still unaccounted for. Drones have been brought in as part of the recovery. The Trichem Industries plant near Crescent, Texas, just west of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, housed highly toxic chemicals. Crescent Mayor Bob Cornett.
They bring in highly concentrated chemicals and blend it with either water or solvents, repackage it into 275 tote drums, and then deliver it to customers.
2 other people were hurt and 9 got out safe. Clayton Neville, Dallas.
Britain wants the organization that monitors chemical weapons to examine a sample of the nerve agent used to poison a former Russian spy and his daughter who are living in Britain. He filed the case too late, so a court in Romania has rejected a man's claim that he's not dead. Court says that ruling is final. I'm Rich Johnson.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with a look at your headlines. Accounts linked to Russia sent out tweets during the Sherman Park unrest in Milwaukee to stoke the flames of racial tension, blame Democrats for the chaos, and spread conservative propaganda. Former U.S. Attorney General under Barack Obama Eric Holder was in Milwaukee yesterday to support Judge Rebecca Dallett in her run for state Supreme Court and to pressure Governor Walker to call for special elections to fill 2 state legislative seats. And the company that owns WISN radio station in Milwaukee and WIBA in Madison filed for bankruptcy yesterday. Mostly sunny today, then increasing clouds tonight, lows tonight in the upper 20s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs in the low 40s, and then sunshine on Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It is the 5 o'clock Friday happy hour. Dom, welcome to it.
Hey, man.
Here's my only regret.
You only have one?
Today I have one. I have 2. Lack of rum. And I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
Yes, you did. I mean, if you kept on, you could have been an advisor to President Trump.
Quite possibly. But Dom, enough of the Trump trashing. Unless we can somehow connect the governor of the state of Wisconsin to our Trump trashing.
I think we can.
Let's try.
All right.
Ho-hum, another typical Scott Walker election bid, except for one thing. Donald Trump. Christian Sleazy Schneider at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
You know, he's never going to come on this show. You keep talking like
air
that.
Air quote, fine conservative columnist. One of my favorite fine conservative columnist in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
He caught your eye today, though, Crudy.
One of his better submissions of late. In the past several months, Democratic campaigns against Governor Walker have featured a candidate breastfeeding her child in an online video, a candidate suggesting that he won't live in the governor's mansion once elected. Now, the first one is Kelda Royce. The second one, Mike McCabe. Apparently, McCabe wants to rent out the governor's mansion to the public as an Airbnb, and the candidate wistfully recalling, this is a different candidate, Dom, Wisconsin's greatness by citing the advent of electricity. Mayor Soglin, you might want to join us here in the 21st century, sir. As Walker's 17 Democratic challengers gasp for media coverage, their proposals are likely to get even weirder. Dane County candidate Mike McCabe has vowed, a lot of inset there, to make Wisconsin the first state to derive all of its energy from renewable sources. How dare he, Dom? Nothing but coal, clean coal here in Wisconsin, according to Sleazy Snyder, apparently, Dom. A Milwaukee-based attorney, Matt Flynn, wants to unilaterally deem assault rifles illegal and order Wisconsinites that own them to destroy them. Now, that Twitter, Kircher News, Schneider's quoting us right there. You realize, don't you, Dom?
Oh, when Matt Flynn was on our show, he said that.
Most recently in studio here on Brady Street. So don't Pretend like Schneider doesn't know who we are. Schleazy. The desire for Dem candidates to stand out is understandable. Few Wisconsinites would know any of them if they were standing in their living rooms. According to a recently released Marquette University Law School poll, State Superintendent Tony Evers leads the field of Walker challengers with only 18% of the primary vote, more than twice the support of second-place Madison Mayor Grumpy Pants Paul Soglin, who earned 9% in the poll. The current leader in the Democratic primary is, I don't know, dominating the field at 44%. The I don't know campaign, in parentheticals here, according to Schneider's piece, the I don't know campaign has yet to disclose its secret donors. Oh, he's so funny and clever,
I get
Christian
that.
Schneider, Dom.
Speaking of secret donors, Walker, on the other hand, is universally known throughout the state and right where he needs to be heading up to his 2018 election bid. The governor's job approval number is at 47%, exactly where it was at the same time before his 2014 re-election, in which he beat Democratic challenger Mary Burke by 5 percentage points. In the March 2014 poll, Burke's favorable number was 19%, similar to Evers' current 20% favorability rating, which is highest among current Democratic candidates.
I would point out, not to interrupt, but I
go
must.
ahead.
Mary Burke was the only Democratic candidate once upon a time in 2014, right? Weinhaut was a considered candidate. She had the big car accident. And I'm not going to throw Halsey in as a legitimate candidate. You know, no offense to you, Brett, but you weren't legit.
Too legit to quit.
Well, he got out eventually, Don, but not until he lost the primary. The point being is this. She was as well known as Tony Evers, despite the fact she was the only candidate. Tony Evers, one of 17 candidates.
So while the current state of our national politics seems unprecedented, the fundamental state of Wisconsin politics suggests an election that may look very much like gubernatorial elections of the recent past. Walker is likely to benefit from the size of the Democratic field.
That part's true.
To stand out in the crowd, the more serious contenders are going to have to take crazier positions to try to steal voters from the more fringe oddball candidates. By the time the primary is over, the winning Democratic candidate may have promised to deploy the Wisconsin National Guard to take out the Foxconn factory.
I had that proposal for the candidates. Whichever one would adopt it probably would earn my endorsement, Don.
Journal Sentinel Christian Schneider goes on to write, but even though the early numbers look remarkably standard, there are reasons for Republicans to worry about all statewide elections. Last month, the GOP lost a solidly Republican state Senate seat in western Wisconsin, where suburban conservatives stayed away from the polls as if ballots were infected with the bird flu. Last week, Republicans lost a suburban Pittsburgh congressional seat that President Donald Trump carried in 16 by over 20 percentage points. Alabama now has a Democratic U.S. Senator, which seems less likely than the state having a Labrador Retriever as governor. The common denominator...
No, that was the Republican candidate. He was the dog.
Yeah, he was. The common denominator in all of these races is President Donald Trump. The president is creating competitive races where none existed. Even in special elections won by Republicans, GOP turnout has been down sharply. Thus, as the Wisconsin Democratic gubernatorial carnival rolls from town to town, it appears Walker's only serious opponent is Donald Trump. Even in normal years, parties that control the White House have trouble holding on to seats during midterm elections, but the national mood suggests this year could be especially brutal given Trump's record low favorability.
I got to read the last four sentences. Come on, man.
In a sense, Trump's outlandish behavior could be a boon to Walker. Much of the reason his Democratic opponents are in the candidate witness protection program is because Trump has soaked up an inordinate amount of media coverage. But Walker has to counteract the overwhelmingly negative coverage Trump has received by setting himself apart. It's why, as governor, he has introduced some eye-popping new initiatives. I would say stealing from Dems, Curdy, but I will continue. Christian Schneider, from expanding health care to cutting taxes to proposing a new juvenile prison system to spending $100 million on school safety, all of which Democrats have struggled to oppose.
Because it was all their proposals, Tom.
Let's go through it one by one here. Well, let's finish this up. Here's the last paragraph from Christian Schneider in the Journal Sentinel. The baseline number suggests that if 2018 were like any other year, Scott Walker would steamroll another marginal Democratic opponent. But this year seems very different, as the GOP's true opponent is one of their own. For Scott Walker in 2018, the call is coming from inside the White House.
Christian Sleazy Schneider is a Journal Sentinel columnist and blogger, one of Crudy's favorites.
As you can tell. But
he's quite fine.
Expanding healthcare. So now Schneider is rolling out the Governor Walker wants to expand healthcare. All right, well, is Governor Walker going to, accept the Medicaid money, Christian?
No. In fact, he's having his Attorney General sue to end Obamacare on the very same day it was announced. He signed a $200 million bill, not to prop up healthcare, but to prop up insurance companies and assure their participation in the federal exchanges, where Scott Walker pushed a lot of people that should have been on Medicaid.
And another point he brings up, these eye-popping new initiatives, according to Christian Schneider, cutting taxes, as well as proposing a new juvenile prison system. Now, my understanding is Republicans here in Wisconsin are pushing back on both of those items proposed by Governor Walker.
Well, he wants to give, the birther bonus, wants to give $100 for every kid, but only if you paid taxes last year. Poor people not allowed into that column of grandiose giving because the poor people, they don't vote Republican often. And what was the other one?
Finally, spending $100 million on school safety. And Christian wraps that up with all of which Democrats have struggled to oppose.
Well, you pointed out the new juvenile prison system he appropriated. He even acknowledged Evan Goyke was the source of that during his State of the State speech, I believe, Dom. But that one seems dead on arrival. The terrorists in the Republican caucus on the Senate side, they're not going to let that happen. So how did Scott Walker turn the page on that bad headline
how does Scott
story?
Walker walk away from Donald Trump? Donald Trump is the leader of the GOP. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party. You're not going to walk away. You invited him on stage.
Buddy,
you gave him the thumbs up. You sat in the presidential chair with all
at
smiling.
The Oval Office.
Yeah, man, you guys had your matching blue ties on. Donald Trump had his hand on your shoulder. It was such a cute little picture.
Dominic, nobody eats the Cheetos without getting a little dirty on their hands, right? You get that orange dust all around your mouth. At least if you've been kissing his ass. And he has.
So you can't. So now what? Christian Schneider is suggesting, after all that ass kissing, after all the Cheeto dust on your nice white pressed shirt, that you walk away, that you're going to somehow now disengage your merged agendas are no longer merged? I don't buy that for a minute.
No, I think Scott Walker will be held accountable for his support for this president. Hashtag not my president. He'll get him out. He'll get him out to vote. Unfortunately, he's going to get him out to vote for a Democrat. I strongly suspect your calls welcome. We air grievances. It's Friday. 844-967-2789. DGA, Democrat. I'll tell you about it after the break. That was a tease into a cough.
They'd like to take me out for a lot of reasons far bigger than just this election.
My good friend, Governor Scott Walker.
Just because he says it doesn't make it true. It wasn't true. It was a Scott Walker, a Scott P. Walker. I'm Scott Kevin Walker.
Picked the wrong week. Quit sniffing glue.
I want to thank the President of the United States for his steadfast leadership.
The irony is a little rich here these days.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
In the wake of a hurricane, your monetary donation can make a huge difference to those in need. To donate, visit supporthurricanerelief.org. That's supporthurricanerelief.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Please tune in Saturday, March 24th from noon to 3 p.m. when Earl Ingram anchors special coverage of the 10th Annual Wisconsin Grassroots Festival from Mazomanie, People Organizing for Solutions. Speakers include Lisa Graves, John Nichols, Matt Rothschild, Congressman Mark Pocan, and Senator Tammy Baldwin. Tune in right here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, Saturday, March 24th, noon to 3.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
I'm Andy Buck, and I'm proud to be union.
Tell me about the underground economy.
Well, the underground economy is essentially workers being exploited, and they're being exploited all over the state. They're working for no benefits, no retirement, and if you don't join your brothers and sisters, you don't respect your craft.
Andy, why should I hire union?
Crudy, you should hire union because you want the job done right the first time. We represent the highest skilled, safety-trained workers in the industries that we represent. Glazers, painters, and drywall finishers. Join us. Painters and Allied Trades, District Council 7.
Juice, Mom! Juice, juice, juice! Mommy, why are we going to the store? Mom, I want juice! Mom! Juice, juice, juice! Mom!
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates. We drink when we toast. We toast when we drink.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also streaming on the Facebooks, on YouTube, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and on the phones to air your Friday grievances. 844-967-2789.
Dom, we play Shipping Up to Boston, not just in honor of St. Paddy's Day, but also in deference to the fact that this band, Dropkick Murphys, literally hates Scott Walker.
This is what Scott Walker walked out onto the stage at the Iowa Freedom Summit, Crudy.
The Freedom Summit.
And then after that, yes, you're absolutely right. They tweeted out, Scott Walker, please stop playing our music. We literally hate you.
Love the Dropkick Murphys. Dom, we've got callers holding. Let's not be rude to them. 844-967-2789. The party line's open to you. Let's get back to it. Starting with Randy. How you doing, Randy?
Hey, guys. Nice job. Listen, I have a grievance. Or as Annie, I think your last caller's name was, she said, this is what pops my cork. That's an awesome that's what she said. She's like, this is what really pops my cork.
I made a mental note of that, Randy, as well. I'm going to appropriate that and use that at some future time.
Absolutely. Listen, speaking to Don's point, I saw elementary kids walking out, and that is kind of crazy. Listen, I asked you guys before, what is the most corrupt state in the union? And you said Wisconsin. And obviously you guys are very informed, but how do you go day in and day out as, informative people, knowing that this seriously, how do we keep doing this?
Well, you tune into the Devil's Advocates each weekday between 3 and 6 p.m. We'll cheer you up a little bit. We'll have a little fun. We'll inform you, but mostly we'll have a little fun with you. But, Randy, we're chipping away at the foundation. We're mocking the governor. We're mocking the presidency.
I know. It's inevitable. Listen, all of this, Miller time, it's all inevitable. And that's what I think is really exciting about our time and our age, is that you can't keep stuff hidden anymore. All shall come to the light. Crute, with your Christian background.
Come to the light? Randy, that's what Jesus would tell you, my friend. What? I gotta not believe in God?
No, I think he's pointing out, all will come to light, and he's giving you a reference, perhaps a saying that you may have heard before, given the faith. But I think he makes an excellent point.
I think he was chastising me as a believer.
Randy, were you chastising Crudy?
Not at all. I'm just saying what is inevitable within the world and the cosmos, not to get, whatever. But Mueller time, you can't. They could do it in Watergate, but they can't do it now. It's pathetic. And we all get to watch it, and you guys get to, have your radio show and help everybody. My question was, how do you guys keep going, knowing that even though Wisconsin is the most corrupt state, how do you keep going? How do journalists keep going, knowing that this is so pathetic?
Well, Randy, I don't know about journalists, but as far as I'm concerned, this is in some ways it's therapy for me. It's great to be able to shine a light on governmental corruption. This for me, it is exciting every single day to mock, to inform, and to learn myself what's going on. I had no idea that Trump's new economic advisor had a $100,000 a month cocaine habit. These are new little facts that I think, while we certainly mock it and bring it to light, goes to show what kind of character the president has and the kind of people he brings around him. And this goes not only from the federal government, certainly to the state and local government as well. When we see it, man, I cannot wait to bust chops on these people.
Well, speaking on behalf of all true journalists, I can tell you it's a joy just to put forth the facts. The facts. They will set you free. And what I mostly look forward to, Randy, why I persevere each and every day on the radio, it's because someday soon we'll have live bell-to-bell impeachment coverage right here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, 1580 in Madison, 1510 AM in the Milwaukee Metro. It'll be here. We'll do it. Bell-to-bell impeachment of Trump coverage. Hell, we might commentate each day. I'd get out of bed just a little early to do that show every day. Wouldn't any of us truly? Can you imagine the lineup we got going forward, Dom? It's going to be
no doubt.
Bigly tremendous. Come back with us. This show ain't over yet. Your call's necessary to make it super cool at 844-967-2789.
Our economy's on fire.
Scotty's on fire.
Oh my God, we're burning alive!
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
The Devil's Advocates.
We've got U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. Ron, in all seriousness, if this was Barack Obama, you'd be screaming, "Stormy, stormy, stormy," from the rooftops.
You're too young to understand this excuse. This would be the Sergeant Schultz answer, "I know nothing."
But as the chair of the HISCAC, sir, Homeland Security Governmental Affairs Committee, you could get to the bottom of this, could you not, Ron?
I see nothing. I know nothing.
Making radio great again.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with a look at your headlines. The company that owns WISN radio station in Milwaukee and WIBA in Madison filed for bankruptcy yesterday. Johnsonville is recalling smoked sausage products that may be contaminated with plastic. Former Packer Jordy Nelson signed a 2-year deal with the Oakland Raiders for $15 million. The Marquette women's basketball team plays Dayton University today in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And the Bucks are off tonight. Their next game is tomorrow afternoon at 5 when the Atlanta Hawks come to town. Mostly sunny today, then increasing clouds tonight. Lows tonight in the upper 20s. Mostly sunny tomorrow, highs in the low 40s. And then sunshine on Sunday with highs in the upper 40s. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels.
The Devil's Advocates, because freedom.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. In the midst of the happy hour, it'd be a little happier if I'd had some spiced rum. Randy, if there was truly a merciful God, someone would bring me some spiced rum down here on Brady Street. I'm all parched.
See, if there was a God, you'd have spiced rum right now. Oh. Better luck next time, man.
Maybe if I had better friends, I'd have some spiced rum right now. What, I always got to bring the beer? Nobody else can bring the drinks to the party?
Oh, come on. Our pal Tom Alonzi from Teamsters 200, he brought a couple of beers over, man.
Man, that's the thick and hearty, stouty stuff.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Tom.
I'm not man enough for that stuff.
You'll be all right.
Dom, I found an article. This one dropped recently at the Journal Sentinel Online. Eric Holder, Scott Walker, and Tammy Baldwin
walk into a bar.
Call for action on Russian Twitter trolls, Wisconsin meddling. Well, I haven't heard anything about Scott Walker so far, so let's jump in. bipartisan leaders from former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, a guest in this fine studio yesterday. Dom, the interview with Eric Holder and Earl Ingram Jr., it's on the News Talk 1510 AM podcast page. Fine interview, but this story broke yesterday, right before Earl recorded that interview with Holder. He did ask the question, back to the article at the Journal-Sentinel. Former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder to Wisconsin. Governor Scott Walker called Friday for a federal response to news that Russian Twitter trolls sought to stoke racial division in wake of the August 2016 unrest in Milwaukee Sherman Park. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reported Thursday that Russia-linked accounts got thousands of retweets for their racially charged post made only hours after the chaos in Sherman Park neighborhood and less than 3 months before the 2016 presidential election won by Trump. After a Madison campaign visit Friday on behalf of State Supreme Court candidate Rebecca Dallett, Holder said Congress should hold hearings on Russian interference in Milwaukee and said the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office should investigate as well. Here's a quote, Tom. If you have the connection between that kind of effort and a foreign government, yeah, that's the basis for a federal investigation, said Holder, who served under President Barack Obama. I think it's incumbent upon people both at the state level and the federal level to hold hearings to find exactly who was behind that and what was the impact of that effort. State level hearings, don't hold your breath, sir. Walker spokeswoman Amy Hassenberg said that the Republican governor also wants a federal review. Not our state. Go do it on the federal level. Here's his quote. We believe it is outrageous that any foreign interest would try to cause disruption in our communities and hope that the federal government will spend time looking into this interference. And you know why it's outrageous, Tom?
Why is that, Curdy?
Because it's mostly just been Republicans doing that up till now.
The Journal-Sentinel found Russian-linked Twitter accounts also sought to help the Trump campaign in Wisconsin and a primary challenger to U.S. Speaker Paul Ryan, a Janesville Republican. The trolls tried to pit Americans against one another after a police shooting in Milwaukee. Fake conservative accounts tweeted out a false rumor that black activists were planning attacks, while a fake liberal account used an Ohio police shooting to spread a false report that the suspect had been shot in the back.
I was going to say something, but I'll pass.
All right.
I'll let you keep
the
going.
meddling in
sort
Wisconsin.
of on a roll now.
The meddling in Wisconsin included many of the tactics and one of the Twitter accounts that were detailed in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's indictment last month of 13 Russian nationals for election interference. A spokeswoman for U.S. Attorney Matthew Kruger in Milwaukee declined comment on any potential review. State Senator LaTonya Johnson, who lives in Sherman Park, said she's furious about the meddling. Thank you, so are we, and wants more federal action to ensure her community is protected. Here's what she said. We were trying to keep the peace in the community while these fools were sowing the seeds of racism and hatred.
I would ask, is she talking about Republicans or Russians at this point, Tom? Or right-wing talk radio?
Now we're talking 2 years later, and we're still vulnerable to these tactics. And Ms. Johnson makes a great point, and I'd like to reiterate this. If you believe the reporting, and I do, a foreign government, the Russians, were actively trying to mess with us in our backyard. I mean, literally, out there. You know, Milwaukee is a great town, but we have some of the biggest racial disparities in the country. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is one of the worst places for young black people to grow up and thrive. It is a terrible situation here, and we've got lots of issues that we all need to work on. But when outside forces like the Russians are actively doing this, and our federal government, specifically Donald Trump, of course Donald Trump won Wisconsin. What are the Republicans doing? This is my concern. Not only did Donald Trump not enforce the sanctions that were initially put on Russia for their election interference. Now, yesterday, apparently now it becomes an issue because what? The Russians can hack into our electrical systems, our electrical grid, perhaps the nuclear facilities that provide power. What if the Russians, while they hacked into our system, shut down a nuclear facility? What kind of havoc would that wreak on the state of Wisconsin?
Tremendous havoc, because if they turned off the power, Dom, they turn off this radio station.
Oh, see, that would be a big problem. So
and that would truly be an act of terrorism.
But this comes down. This is in our backyard, and while I appreciate, and I do. I'm not trying to be facetious here. If truly Scott Walker had nothing to do with any of this NRA money and nothing to do with any of the Russians or any of that stuff, and if you are truly concerned about foreign state government interference with our local elections, absolutely, we should have some investigation. But where is Scott Walker and Speaker Voss? Are you calling on, I don't know, perhaps U.S. Senator Republican Ron Johnson, chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Commission, to perhaps look into this? While I appreciate all the looking at the wrongdoings of Hillary Clinton, she's not the president. This is not the issue that I'm concerned about right now. Were she president and you're going to lay something down, I'd be happy to look at it. She's not. Trump is. Russians are actively interfering. They can control the electrical grids. What? And they're in our elections, and we get from Scott Walker, well, maybe they should look into it. Maybe everybody should. And if you're going to look into it, maybe you should look at the president. What involvement does he have with these Russians over time? Why are you not supportive of what Mueller is trying to get down to? If, in fact, the president of the United States through all the years had a relationship cultivated with the Russians, and they had efforts to try to undermine this election and put him, their guy, in power, don't you have a problem with that? How can you call for an investigation for the same Twitter accounts that apparently were out, trolling our citizens here in Milwaukee with enough problems that we have, racially speaking, but at the same time support the president and knock on Mueller for investigating the same Twitter account in another area? It is inconsistent. I'm looking for some consistency.
Well, first and foremost, Jason Stein's piece does touch on the fact that his GAC chairman, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, is effectively asleep at the switch. Doesn't want to do any sort of investigations of the Russian issue, thinks that's the, Senate Intelligence Committee's domain.
Was that before or after it was identified that the same Russian trolls, the same Russian accounts were sowing the seeds of hatred in our backyard?
It was earlier today that I believe he was quoted, Dom. I appreciate your passionate outrage. Foreign actors right here in Sherman Park stirring racial strife. But, only being half a smart ass here, Dom. We've got domestic actors that are doing the same thing on right-wing talk radio each and every day. Sheriff David A. Clark Jr., he was the voice amplified. He was the duly elected right-wing talk radio supported sheriff of Milwaukee County.
Yes.
It wasn't all Russian trolls. It was the sheriff of this community that was out front and center. They were amplifying his words in part. And I would point out, right-wing talk radio, it is nearly impossible to differentiate from the words of the Russian trolls, from the racial strife that they would stir, and from the average show that I hear on bankrupt, heartless radio across the street each and every day, Dom. They have a merged agenda. So you can understand where righties say, no collusion, this is just how we feel. This is just a means to an end, whether it's right-wing talk radio, whether it's Russian trolls, who cares what the source is? This is their merged agenda, my friend.
844-967-2789. Does this make you angry? Is this an issue now that's in our backyard? Are the
not
responses...
as angry as it makes you, apparently, because, buddy, this has been going on. We know it's been going on. Ron Johnson, as I mentioned, asleep at the switch throughout. He was in the meeting before Trump was even elected. We had this conversation when he was last in studio. I asked him, you were in the meeting with all of the heads of intelligence. He readily admitted that. You were in the meeting with Mitch McConnell. President Barack Obama asked you to stand with him in a bipartisan fashion and to come out and make a strong statement against the Russian tampering going on. And what did Ron Johnson tell us? Well, I wasn't going to say all is well. I wasn't going to be supportive of anything effectively that Barack Obama wanted, because this is the same Republican Party Mitch McConnell, Ron Johnson led, that also stole a Supreme Court seat. I don't know that anything the Russians did comes anywhere close to perverting our democracy like that did. So sorry if I don't get so upset that the Russians were interfering in Milwaukee. We've got that sort of interference happening every day and it's on right-wing talk radio. And it's pervasive. And there's 2 channels of it, Dom. And let's not forget where Scott Walker run to whenever he needs a friendly voice. It's not Russia Today, although I bet they'd gladly embrace him there. It's right-wing talk radio that he runs to, Dom.
It is. You make a great point. It's hard to differentiate the differences between the tweets
it's all
of
propaganda.
local Republicans and the Russians. And in fact, I believe the T10_GOP, the Tennessee GOP, the fake Russian Tennessee GOP account, actually retweeted some of Sheriff David A. Clark's tweets.
And Kellyanne Conway and Donald Trump Jr., to my memory, retweeted the Tennessee_GOP. Dom, U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin said in a statement that Russian President Vladimir Putin, and here's a direct quote, directed an attack on our democracy. She said Congress should pass legislation to offer federal cybersecurity grants to state election agencies, which Scott Walker would probably turn down, right?
Well, I can't trust that the federal money.
Well, you can't trust your own GAB. You can't trust your own ethics board. You can't trust your own elections board. We asked Jennifer Schilling yesterday on this show, Senate Minority Leader Jennifer Schilling, is this intentional? And she could not say clearly that it was not. I read on. A quote from Baldwin. This cannot be dismissed or ignored. It's time for the president and Congress to act on legislation that I support to combat this foreign interference in our elections. On Thursday, the Trump administration imposed sanctions on some of the Russian nationals named in the Mueller indictment, making the first use of a new law intended to punish Russia for its interference in the 2016 presidential election campaign. The sanctions aren't expected to hurt the overall Russian economy, but have a symbolic importance since the Trump administration is acknowledging the Russian interference. And now to your friend Rojo. U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, Republican from Wisconsin, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Homeland Security, has not held hearings on that meddling. Spokesman Ben Vogel said Friday that Johnson believes the Senate Intelligence Committee is better placed to look into the issue. But you have subpoena power, sir. Doesn't want to look at that. Doesn't want to look at these stormy allegations, Dom. Kind of asleep at the switch.
Oh, but he's got like a 30-page report on Hillary Clinton. 3-year investigation.
Working on it for 3 years.
Yeah.
The Democratic members of Johnson's committee have disagreed, arguing in February 2017 letter to him that hearings by their panel would help ensure the Federal Department of Homeland Security provided states with appropriate cybersecurity help. Let's not forget, $200 million, $120 million allocated to the Department of State, and then Trump Twitter fired the Secretary of State earlier this week. I'm sure that'll be on the new guy, Pompeo. I'm sure he's working on the allocation of those dollars right away.
Absolutely.
Vogel said Johnson was attending to a family funeral Friday and unable to comment on the Milwaukee findings, but pointed Johnson's statements to the Journal Sentinel last year that Putin is a menace who needs to be handled with a great deal of strength and resolve, but no hearings. State Attorney General Brad Schimmel, a Republican, contrary to his campaign website,
an independent, he claims,
has not responded to requests for comments.
He's really busy kicking ass every day.
For its Thursday report, the Journal Sentinel used an NBC News database of tweets made by accounts with ties to the Russian Internet Research Agency, a shadowy St. Petersburg group targeted by Mueller. One Russian Twitter account in Mueller's indictment at 10_GOP billed itself as Tennessee GOP, leading some to mistake it for the state's official Republican Party. Dom, we talked about some of those tweets. Here's the one I want to bring attention to. After the Milwaukee shooting, the @10GOP account also tweeted a quote made the previous month by former Milwaukee County Sheriff David A. Clark Jr. Sheriff Clark, Obama set this whole country on fire with his race policies. #Milwaukee, the Post reads. The Tennessee GOP tweeted the same phrase with different hashtags in reference to 3 separate September 2016 police shootings in Oklahoma, Ohio, and North Carolina. Well, Dom, Sheriff David A. Clark Jr., not a resident of the city anymore, apparently moved on, divorced his wife, And married what? Vladimir Putin? The Russian agenda?
Cashing the checks, baby. Out on tour.
Are we sure he is
supporting
not
Donald Trump's PAC?
My question is, are we sure that David A. Clark Jr. is not on the Russian payroll at this time?
I am not sure.
Let that sink out there. Sit out there. To be pondered.
He did go to Russia.
Take a long weekend. Think about Sheriff David A. Clark Jr. Is he on the Russian payroll? We don't know. Just speculate and come back with us. Air your grievances. Running out of time. 844-967-2789.
Remain calm. All is well.
But there's been no collusion, no obstruction, and virtually everybody agrees to that. I'm going to talk to you about that, Ron.
Picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster. And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and puts his helmet on, and he gets off and he makes a speech, but he's always riding like he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy, okay, or a little tough guy. Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know, that
I'm using
failed
facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Sundays for Meet the Press with Chuck Todd from 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the Jeff Santos Show, kicking ass for the middle class from 12 to 3 p.m. And Citizen Action's Battleground Wisconsin rages from 3 to 4 p.m. Get your groove on with Stu Man PM, politics and music, 4 to 6 p.m. with Stu Daniels. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years, assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local 344.org.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The big and tall of political talk. Tom and Crute are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Got no time. We got a little time for your calls. Last segment of the day, 844-967-2789.
Dom, a little sad news out of Wisconsin. Former Attorney General of the state of Wisconsin, Bronson LaFollette, has passed. He served the state 16 years. The grandson of fighting Bob LaFollette passed at like 82 years old in Madison. A cause of death was not noted.
He was 82?
He was 82.
Is age a cause of death?
I do not know. That was not reported in the story I saw, Dom.
Crudy, an update to a conversation we had earlier. Apparently there's some dissension in the ranks over at the Fox News channel. Shepard Smith saying that
Hannity and Tucker and Laura Ingraham, the opinion-based hosts.
Opiniontainment?
They can do whatever they want, Dom. They've got really no parameters of journalism to hem them in.
From the Hill, an update. Fox News chief news anchor Shepard Smith announced Friday afternoon he is taking a previously planned 1-week vacation and joked that when he returns, quote, everything will be peachy keen and hunky-dory, unquote.
Didn't Jesse Waters take a planned vacation after simulating fellatio in reference to Ivanka Trump? Hell, I think even Hannity, in the midst of the anti-Hannity blowback, I think Hannity also took a previously planned but unannounced vacation, did he not?
Yeah.
They must have a very liberal vacation policy over at Fox. Very little public notice due to the listeners or viewers, Dom.
As you mentioned,
I would never do that to our audience.
No, of course not. Smith had previously said the opinion hosts on his network, quote, don't have rules and are just meant for entertainment. Smith's announcements came during his 3 p.m. program, Shepard Smith Reporting, during a lighthearted end to an interview with Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace. No shooting inside the tent. Everything is wonderful, Smith laughed as the interview with Wallace ended. Going to take a 1-week vacation that was previously planned and be back in a week, and everything will be peachy keen and hunky-dory. I can't wait. That's what they always say, previously planned and 1-week vacation. An amused Chris Wallace replied, I have the airline tickets. It's been booked for a while. Tell everyone down there in D.C. hello for me, okay?
Spending more time with family, Shep?
Apparently.
I've heard Shep's a confirmed bachelor, Dom.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Shep. You're okay over there, man. If he's not there, who's going to do the news?
His well-deserved and much-needed time off. It's all planned. Nothing to see here. All is well. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy St. Paddy's Day. Do yourself a favor. Drink a little spiced rum this weekend.
The guy was very, very angry and tired, and he wants to go home.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
So thank you.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professional